Hello, BookTube, and welcome to another part of Britain in Pictures. And by the way, I'm not saying which part because I don't actually remember at the moment, so it'll be down on the title. It's a series of essays. They call them books occasionally, and other times they call them essays. That was published during wartime, World War II, and as sort of propaganda or to bolster morale during the war. And this is British cartoonists, caricaturists, and comic artists by David Lowe. Published William Collins of London, 1942. David Lowe is a great cartoonist. Okay. Vaguely know the name. His lively wit and pungent comments on contemporary politics have earned him worldwide fame. But by its very nature, the art of the cartoonist tends to be ephemeral, and it is timely to be reminded of the famous artists who have carried on a branch of art which embodies so many essential national characteristics, the qualities which have made Lowe's drawings so universally admired are noticeably present too in this acute and masterly account of British cartoonists and comic artists. Studies of Hogarth, Gilray, and Rawlinson carry the story down to the founding of Punch, the great days of Leach, Tenniel, Samburn, and the giants of more recent days. Lowe, in his new role, shines with the same brilliance which distinguishes his drawing, and his book is an outstanding contribution to this famous series. Again, book rather than essay. The Assembly Room's Bath by Rawlinson. You can easily tell that, or I think you can easily tell that's Rawlinson. And this is not Rawlinson. This is The Three Jovial Huntsmen, drawing by R. Caldecott. So yeah, it's fairly easy to tell the different styles. Binding's really tight on these. Oh, that's a nice one here. That's a Gilroy, I think. Yeah, Gilroy, yeah. The Plum Pudding in Danger, or State Epicures taking un petit supper, I guess. Caricature of Pitt and Napoleon carving up the globe, engraving by Gilray, 1805. This is cool. The Scapegoat, cartoon by Cynicus. The landlord, the shopkeeper, the customer. The landlord, shopkeeper, and the customer. I gotta love that. Algernon Charles Swinburne, caricature by Carlo Pellegrini. John Henry Newman, caricature by Leslie Ward. We saw a painting of, I think it was, John Henry Newman, but as a young man. Dante Gabriel Rossetti in his back garden, caricature by Sir Max Beerbohm. Beerbohm was a good artist, but also he wrote essays, which were very good as well. I think that's the same Beerbohm. Now I'm questioning myself because of faulty memory syndrome. The Man Who Lit His Cigar Before the Royal Toast, drawing by H.M. Bateman. That's definitely a familiar name. Around and paintings been around for a while. The Past Meets the Present, Jubilee Day on Olympus, cartoon by David Lowe. The author of this essay and book. It's number 1. British Postage Stamps by S.C. Johnson. (1944). The range and diversity of the British Empire is reflected in her postage stamps, which come from every quarter of the globe and are used by peoples of many different races. As a picture gallery, these empire stamps are both attractive and instructive. Some of them are of real artistic merit and all help to tell the tale of British colonialism and settlement overseas. A few recall outstanding events in our history. Some illustrate the beauty of the lands they serve, and others depict the activities that go on in these lands. In this book, these stamps, new as well as old, which tell some special story in the empire's development, have been given the most detailed description within the framework of general narrative. Dr. Johnson is an expert on the subject, but he retains the enthusiasm of the genuine amateur. Philatelists will need no encouragement to read this book, but the general reader who has previously had only a passing and perhaps youthful interest in stamp collecting will be pleasurably surprised to find that a fascinating subject it is, or what a fascinating subject it is, and how general are its implications, both historical and social. Again, show there, and I haven't showed it back for a while, I think for a few. There we go. The English penny black and 2 penny blue. Well, kind of look the same there, I'm afraid. Well, the top penny black, I guess. But in black and white, they all look the same. There's lots of pictures of stamps. Page of triangular capes. Interesting design. Stamps from Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Newfoundland. Never seen any of those like that in Canada. From Rhodesia to Uganda. Oh, this could be interesting. Various stamps of Africa. Oh, I like that. Victorian Edwardian stamps of India. The classic pence issues of Ceylon. Now Sri Lanka. Yeah. Wait a minute, or is it the other? I'm not even going to try to re-guess my memory here. Fine examples from Borneo. Ooh. It would have been nice if in color. Those would have been really nice in color. Page of New Zealand stamps. And last but not least, Sarawak, Sierra Leone, Lagos, Southern Rhodesia, and Southern Nigeria stamps. Southern Nigeria stamps. Shouldn't it be Southern Nigerian? But I guess, yeah, Southern Nigeria. Yeah, I don't know. And now we've got The English Poets by Lord David Cecil. an author in many ways, and also I forget the name of his big house that he had, and he's written about the big homestead. Let's put it that way. This was published in 1941, so it must be an early one. Yeah, yes, it's an early one. See, it doesn't have the list on the back, so this must be one of the very first ones. It's the first printing. That's really nice. That's a nice condition. Lord David Cecil is the younger son of 4th Marquis of Salisbury. He was a fellow of Waltham College, Oxford, and is now fellow of New College as a writer. He is well known as the author of The Stricken Deer, a biography of the poet Cooper, which won the Hawthornden Prize in 1929. Is that prize still going? I don't know. I don't remember coming across the name before, other than in here, or in these. And he also published his well-known biography of young Melbourne. In the present book on the English poets, Lord David Cecil covers the whole field of English poetry from Chaucer to the present day. Despite the difficulty of dealing with so great a subject in his so short a book, he has succeeded in bringing out the individuality of each poet and in showing the man against the background of his age. So I take it no women poets in here. I've not read this one for some reason. I think this was one of the latest ones that I picked up. Yes, I see the price there. Where was it here? Saying that he was a fellow of Wadham College, Oxford, and is now a fellow of New College. So he's still a student, and he's Lord David Cecil. Chaucer, 1340 to 1400. I think that's only estimate. They don't put a circa there. See, yeah, it's interesting going through this like this, and I'm seeing discrepancies and potentially issues. Oil painting by an unknown artist. Philip Sidney, 1554 to 1586. Oil painting, unknown artist. And I wonder if it's unknown to them that do it, but these are well-known artists. Like if you could search them on the internet, you'd be able to find them. Yeah, these are all poets. Just pictures. John Donne, miniature by Isaac Oliver. Richard Lovelace. Oil painting attributed to John de Critz. What's this here? There's a manuscript. Facsimile extracted from Lucidius, an elegy on the death of his friend Edward King by John Milton. Oh, that's quite cool. Andrew Marvell. There's a little biography by Edmund Goss by Edward Marvell. I've got it somewhere. Well, it's within arm's reach here, but in a pile of books. John Dryden. Let's see what else there is here. Wordsworth. Oh, it's even got poems in here. I've never actually looked at this one closely. I don't think. Songs of Innocent Plate engraved by William Blake. Is that Keats? No, it's Shelley. Tennyson. Browning. Dante Gabriel Rossetti. Yeah, just pictures of poets. Robert Bridges. Oh, yeah. I kind of like some of his stuff. I haven't read him in a long time. 1844 to 1930. Oil painting by Charles First. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of him. I like that one. Okay, English poets finished. English Villages by Edmund Blunden, another good author that I've seen lots of stuff of. This is published in 1941, but wants to be one of the later ones because it does have the listing on the back, but not very big listing. And interesting that I don't know if I've noticed it on other ones, and it must be, yeah, I just noticed it now. But yeah, as I was saying, they were 3 shillings and sixpence. This book could only have been written by an Englishman and a countryman at that. Edmund Blunden was born in one of those villages in the south of England, which he describes with such unique felicity. Those who read this book will be brought near to the inmost spirit of rural England. The author is one of the most generally acclaimed of contemporary English poets, and like many of our best poets, he has a remarkable fine prose style. This is a book in which every epithet is weighed and seems inevitably destined, in the opinion of one contemporary writer who has read it, to become a little classic. It has, I think. I think this is one of the ones that are quite sought after, I think. Let's try to go through these colored ones quickly. The Thames near Goring, watercolor by H. Judson. And Judson lived from 1816 to 1889. We've got Tottenham Village in 1802, watercolor by George Sheriff, the Elder. Yeah, see, there's another one that's the we came across him before, but it's just the first initial G, and it wasn't the Elder. I don't think it was Senior. So there's no consistency of their notations in here. The Village Flower and Vegetable Show, painted by Gilbert Spencer. Iffley from the Towing Path, Oxford, watercolor by Pierre de Wint, 1784 to 1849. Anybody in Oxford, get me a photograph of what that looks like now. Thatching in Hampshire, oil painting by Richard Ehrlich. That's really nice. A Scene in Windsor, watercolor by Paul Sandby, circa 1760. Yeah, these two would be nice. Pointings, a Sussex Village, watercolor by Douglas S. Andrews. Again, it'd be lovely to get somebody to take a picture if they could sort of find out where that was, and looking across, might be able to by the landscape. Collingham, a Yorkshire Village, watercolor by W. Carter. And the last one for this is the Birds of Britain by James Fisher. Let's get that out of the way. It's got a big chunk out of the top of the jacket there. And that looks like it's a more recent tear. This is 1942. Mr. James Fisher is a young and distinguished zoologist already well known to the reading public as the author of such books as Birds as Animals, Watching Birds, and the editor of the Penguin edition of Gilbert White's Natural History of Selborne. In 1933, he was an ornithologist on the Spitzberg expedition. In 1936, he was appointed assistant curator at the Zoological Society of London, and since 1937, he has been associated first as treasurer and then as secretary with the British Trust for Ornithology. The present book, The Birds of Britain, is a fascinating study. Yeah, I'll take your word for it. Of the 424 different species mentioned as belonging to the British list, Mr. Fisher says only, quote, only about half play anything like an important part in the web of British wildlife. These 200 sorts of birds are perhaps the most written of and most poeticized and most sung of, dreamed of, listened to, observed, protected, loved birds in the world. End of quote. In a section on historical change, Mr. Fisher gives an extraordinary, interesting account of the changes which have resulted from the disappearance of the old habitats, the total loss of some, the survival of other more adaptable species. There is an account, too, of the observers of British bird life, the great figures like White, the lesser-known figures like Turner and Willoughby, and the vast body of anonymous and devoted amateur ornithologists who, by keeping faithful records, have made modern scientific ornithology possible. The illustrations form a very fine commentary on the text and are reproduced from the works of the best British ornithological artists. Let's take a look. Ooh, that's nice. Arctic Tern, illustrated by J.J.L. Audubon, James Audubon, 1835, from Birds of America. The Great Auk, wash drawing by Daniel King, circa 1652, the earliest known figure of the Great Auk. Black-necked grebe, illustrated by Edward Donovan, circa 1795, from his Natural History of British Birds. Nice little top. There's a lot of spot-off illustrations like that. Green Woodpecker, illustrated by F.O. Morris or Richard Allington, 1852, by Morris's History of British Birds. Either or artist. Gannets, illustrated by Audubon again, from Birds of America. Sorry, I'm just looking to see. There's one. Kestrel. Illustration by Joseph Wolfe, 1862, from Gould's Birds of Great Britain. Oh, that's a really good. Gould's Birds of Great Britain. Yeah, I've seen copies. A friend I know has one, or I think, yeah. I've seen copies of it. They're very nice. Anyway, that's the end of this part. I'll see you next time, BookTube.